Welcome back to RE/MAX Real Estate Insights. Are you in the market for some new flooring? Whether you're getting ready to move, just moved in, or maybe it's time for an upgrade, you have lots of choices in flooring these days. There's carpet, there's vinyl, laminate, hardwood, and within each of those, there's a wide range of options in pricing. Flooring is an important aspect in your home, not just for the decor, but for functionality. And many flooring products today are designed to last for many years, so you really want to make the right choice. But how do you know what's right for you? It can be hard to know what product will serve you the best over time, as popular colors and trends tend to change. But we have an expert with us today that can answer all of these questions and more. I'm your host, Jeanette Schneider, and joining me now is Joe Zago. He is the owner and CEO of The Carpet Guys. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You know, it's hard to introduce you and not think of your company jingle. You guys have done a really good job getting that in people's mind. So I got to ask you, was that a home run from the beginning? Or did you have several drafts to get to that point? How did that work?
Well, first was coming up with the name The Carpet Guys. Mm-hmm. And I used to be in the flooring business for other companies, and it was always shop at home. So when I'd go to a customer's home, I'd knock on the door, and usually a little kid would answer the door, and they'd say, "Mom, The Carpet Guy's here." And so, I mean, we're racking our name of what should be the right name for the company, and then we just came up with The Carpet Guys because it was the most obvious.
Fit and it works.
And then over the years, through social media, I met a friend by the name of John Montgomery. He lived out in California, and he was the person who made all the music for the MTV series Jackass.
Oh, really?
And when all that was all done, we still kept in touch over all the years. And when I first started the company, I needed to do some advertising, but really cheap. So I was using social media, and I also would stand in the corner with a sign. And I met another lady by the name of Fran, who was really energetic, and to say the least. And she was, probably in her upper 60s or so,
right.
But she had more energy than any teenager. And she was on a corner, and she was holding a sign for us, and she'd tell people, "Be wise, call the Carpet Guys." And I said, "Man, that's really great." So that's where, when
that's
put
segment
"Be
of
wise,
it, yeah.
call the Carpet Guys," that was all Fran. And then when I linked up with John Montgomery in California about it, he was able to put a jingle together within just a couple drafts, and it was awesome. And it's stuck with us ever since.
And it works very, very well.
It's hard to forget.
So while a lot of us are familiar that the Carpet Guys exist, again, because you've done a great job marketing it, how was the company formed? Kind of what's the backstory? What do people not know?
Well, like I said, I worked in the shop-at-home industry for a long time. When I was in my late teens, early 20s, I sold Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door. So I was used to being on people's carpet to begin with. I knew what destroyed it. I knew what made it last. And then I got into working for Empire Today several years ago, which is another, wasn't local at the time. It was just going national from Chicago. So I was with them for a few years out of Belleville, and I learned how to successfully sell carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate flooring. I moved out to Arizona, and then when I came back to Michigan, the options were basically go work for my former company that I worked with, the economy was tanked back in 2009. And
it wasn't great back then, was it?
I was in rough shape. I had when I lost my job in Arizona and came back to Michigan, our unemployment was the highest it's ever been. It was really hard for me to find work. And if I did go back to the other company, my opportunities were still going to be very slim. So I wound up losing my car because I wasn't able to make the payment. I lost my house. I went through a bankruptcy. I literally was sleeping in my friend's basement in a house that was actually in foreclosure because the landlord that he was renting from wasn't paying the mortgage payment. So in this little basement, we didn't have heat from October until January.
Those are some tough months not to have heat.
We had space heaters, but we didn't have any gas. We started it from nothing, really. It was just me and a girl that I was dating at the time and one of my buddies. And one of my friends knew how to install carpeting. He's installed for several years for the company that I was with before. I was a decent salesperson, I think, and I knew a supplier that had a lot of carpet on hand that they needed to move, and they made me some samples, and I went door to door, and I just...
You must be a phenomenal salesperson to be selling carpet at that particular point in time and be able to build a company from that, I think speaks volume.
It was hard back then because we didn't have financing. Like, we couldn't take credit cards at the time because, like I said, I went through a bankruptcy, so the only thing I had was a credit card with a $600 limit on it and no investment.
So that's not going to get much carpeting for some if you were willing to go out.
So I would do people's bedrooms, and then after they do a bedroom, I'd say, "Call me back in 6 months and I'll give you the VIP deal to do the rest of the house."
And we can kind of take it from there, if you will. So humble beginnings. So very much kind of the Americana story. I mean, we're realistically, this wasn't something that you've dreamed about, and we don't hear many people coming back from Arizona to Michigan to find work, but that was your story.
Yeah.
And then you really had to carve this literally out of nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. So
I had a good work ethic, and I had a lot of good friends that also had good work ethics. So I think once we combined forces, it all just started
and
working
put it all
out.
together, there we were.
Got lucky.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because not everybody would necessarily be, I think, so open and honest about the background. But that leads us to a company that you now have today that has grown. It's become a major player in the market. Yeah. You still service carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and we're going to get into all of that in just a little bit to talk a little bit more about that and what sets you apart, I think, from your competition. So we are talking with Joe Zago, the owner and CEO with the Carpet Guys. And next, we're going to talk about the variety of flooring options available to you, some of the things that you maybe should consider to make the right purchase for you. And then we're going to talk about spring home maintenance tips. With warmer weather comes spring cleanup and home maintenance. We have tips to help you keep your home in top shape. And later, we're going to focus on open house safety. Sunday, May 5th is our annual RE/MAX Open House Day, and we've got tips to help you prepare. When it comes time to buy or sell a home, well, flooring's important, but so is having the right agent. RE/MAX agents have the experience, the tools, and the know-how to take your home from for sale to sold. Your home is likely the single biggest investment you own, so you want to have an experienced agent helping you maximize the amount you can get. Go to RE/MAXRealEstateInsights.com to find properties or one of our experienced agents near you. And stay tuned for more RE/MAX Real Estate Insights coming up here on 760 WJR.
That's 855 for my guys.
You are listening to RE/MAX Real Estate Insights, and we're talking about flooring for your home. As we've mentioned, it's an important aspect, not just for decor, but for functionality. But how do you pick the right thing when it's designed to last for many years? You really want to get the choice right from the get-go. I'm your host, Jeanette Schneider, and back with me is Joe Zago. He is the owner and CEO with the Carpet Guys, the perfect person to have in here to talk about that. So let's talk a little bit about carpet. There's different carpet styles. Some might work better, in some situations than others. Would you be able to give us a basic intro into maybe some of the different carpet styles, maybe a little pro and con?
Sure. There's all different types of carpeting. There's carpet that's used for your residential, which is primarily what we work with. Mm-hmm. And there's commercial carpets as well. In people's residences, typically a lot of people like to go with plush because your plush carpets are soft and squishy. You could lay on it and watch TV, which are really, really nice. They do well with heavy traffic in most cases. But then there's also some of the really silkier fibers that have been really popular over the last few years. Now, those luxury line carpets are very nice to touch and to feel, but those aren't necessarily the what's really going to do tremendously well in super heavy traffic areas.
Okay.
So if you like that really luxury look, then you want to definitely find something that's got a good twist level to it, and at the same time that is stain resistant, especially if you have an active household with children or pets.
Pets, yeah, absolutely.
Then there's also Berber, which is very popular. It was really popular back in the late 80s, early 90s. It kind of went away for a little while, but it's making its way back, it seems.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's really good for your heavy traffic areas. It's a tightly woven loop carpet, so it doesn't have much of a pile, so it doesn't really matter crush like some of your plush or your Frisé carpets will, but it's really good for heavy traffic, and most of them have like a two-tone or a multicolor in it, so it also is really well with does really well with hiding spills and
stains in everyday life. Yeah.
And then Frisé is very popular. It's also known as California Berber.
Okay.
The idea of that is you have like a tight Berber, but then you shave it and you make it kind of blossom, and basically you have the tweed, like the multicolor in it, and it's got more of a relaxed texture, so it's not so formal.
Okay.
And that's great in finished basements, also family rooms, and I have it in my bedroom. I love it.
Okay.
So when you get out of bed and you put your feet into it, it just
still
nice.
feels good.
Yeah, it's great. And you could lay on it and watch TV. It's wonderful.
See, I've got to admit, I have a selfish motive for asking some of these questions because we're in the process of right now, we've redone the woodwork in the room and we're going to be painting in the next couple of weeks. And then the next step is new carpet in there. So I'm kind of a motivating factor. Yeah, I thought you might. So we've got some different selections there. And like you pointed out, some things better with kids and pets, maybe the Berbers, stuff like that. I know what you're talking about, the plush. It feels so good to walk on, but that's the type that also shows the footprints when you leave the room.
It
typically,
can. It just depends on how the density of it and the way it's made. But,
So what about carpet colors? Because there's trends are popular. Beige was all the rage for a while, then kind of off-white. Are you seeing any trends today?
When you look at all of them, I think when you look at a carpet sample, it's got anywhere between 12 and 25 different colors on it. But when you put them all together on a shelf, if you walk through our warehouse, it's like a sea of beige. It's just different shades of beige. The grays have actually made it back. Maybe that 50 Shades movie made it pop. I don't know. So there's a lot of grays, and a lot of the beiges are both very popular. I've seen in the last few years, believe it or not, a lot of the colors that were popular in the 80s, some of your teals are starting to make their way back, and some of the colors that were, you look at those and you're like, oh my God, we used to use, that was our carpet that I grew up with.
That's what we ripped out.
Yes, that rust color carpet's becoming popular again, believe it or not, and bright red and blue. And so the colors, the vibrant colors are actually starting to come back.
That's interesting because you say red. I think of my grandparents' house. They had like a red and black bedroom.
We had red shag growing up, and my sister had yellow carpet, and I had purple carpet.
Yeah, it was the one house we bought when we lived in Novi, the one was purple, one was green, and the other bedroom was blue. And I can remember going, ripped up, as we were walking through.
Well, the one thing that has changed with colors, though, is back when I was growing up in the 80s, like I was saying, my sister had one color, I had one color. Every room had different color carpet. And what most people are doing now is most people are going with a neutral color carpet that goes with different colors on the walls. So you take one color carpet and you run it through the whole upstairs of the house, and then you can characterize the room with different paint. And there's several good painters out there as well that I'm sure you guys are familiar with.
Well, and the accessories, because then then you can change the room a little bit more frequently because good carpet's going to last 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, I don't want to be redoing that every time a new, color becomes the fad. Right. So what about hardwood? Because hardwood remains a popular choice for a lot of people, the clean, timeless look. What do people should they know about hardwood that they maybe don't know?
When you look at the cover of a Homes magazine and you'll see like a beautiful staircase with these beautiful hardwood floors, a lot of times you'll see a very wide plank, and a lot of times people will look at that picture and they'll say, oh, I want that 6-inch plank in my house. The problem in Michigan and in this area is we have so much weather change, and the humidity changes from wet, dry to and the cold, warm. That with wood it expands and contracts. That's why your doors will stick in the summertime because of the humidity. It absorbs the moisture. When you go with a wide plank in a northern state where you have this much fluctuation, a lot of times you'll wind up with buckling and peaking of the floor. So in that particular case, if somebody's looking for a really wide plank, I definitely recommend going with an engineered hardwood floor. And what that is, instead of it being one solid piece of lumber, it's multiple layers of wood. It's not fake wood; it's real wood, and they're crisscrossed on top of each other, then pressed down, then they have a top layer, and that keeps it more dimensionally stable. So you can get away with going with a 4 or 5 inch plank. Whereas if you do that with a solid natural piece of 3/4 inch wood, then you're prone to have problems. So you can get away with it with engineered hardwood. And the manufacturers have really come a long way in the last 15, 20 years, and have really come up with some amazing things.
Amazing products.
Personally, my favorite is laminate.
Well, then let's go there. So what do you like about laminate? So let's go there.
Well, 20, 30 years ago when laminate flooring first became popular, it kind of got plagued with, oh, it's fake wood. It's got the same knot in every single board. It just looks fake. When you walk across it, it was click, 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 click. It sounded fake. It looked fake. It just, it was made to serve a purpose, and
it did, but
And to be honest, back then, they didn't have the technology that they have now, and they didn't have the history with it, so they didn't know what was going to work long term. And a lot of those laminate floors back then failed. Over the last several years, especially over the last 10 years, the manufacturers have really come a long way with that as well. They've changed the core board inside of it. They've made tremendous advancements. Now a lot of waterproof laminates are on the market, whereas before, if you spill a glass of water on laminate, it was shot. It would just absorb all the water and it would swell. And we've been actually selling more laminate Revwood by Mohawk, which is a waterproof laminate core, has outperformed pretty much everything else that we've had over the last several years. It looks better than regular hardwood. It's not photosensitive. So I live on the lake, and so the sun is beating in. The sun rises,
and that can be very harsh.
And with real hardwood, hardwood's photosensitive. It's going to fade. It's going to discolor. It's going to get lighter or darker depending on the species of wood over time. And after 3 or 4 years, I'm going to have to refinish that hardwood floor at the cost of $3 or $4 a foot. Whereas with laminate, if it's a good quality laminate, you'll never have any photosensitivity whatsoever. You never have to refinish it. It's very hard to scratch as opposed to real hardwood. Nothing sticks to it. Nothing stains it. It's just, in my opinion, it's the better way to go. Yeah. And like I said, I put that through my whole main level of my house, and
And you're happy.
I could sell anything, as far as flooring, because I could put any one of those in my own home, and I chose that one, and it's outperforming everything. I get a lot of traffic in my home, and my 6-year-old boy will destroy anything, and he hasn't found a way to mess up my floor yet.
So it withstands the boy test.
Yes.
Gotcha. So let's just talk real quickly about vinyl, because vinyl's another option that's out there. And I'll admit, when I first heard it, I'm thinking what came to my mind is the vinyl that I had in my very first home we owned, and I'm like, going, really, vinyl? But I'm guessing there's been a lot of updates in that too.
All the manufacturers also increased, bettered their sheet vinyl products, which is still popular. But over the last 4 or 5 years, your plank vinyl has become more popular, and luxury vinyl tile was started out just a few years back, and it would be floated or else glued down in a plank form. Similar to laminate, and now they've changed the core boards where they have a WPC product, which is basically it's a little bit thicker, but it has a little softer feel, and it's really nice. There's a product that we sold a lot of last couple of years called Cortec. It has a cork backing on it, which is great. It could the advantage that had before waterproof laminate was it was the first type of wood-looking floor that was waterproof. Okay. And now they've got rigid core product, which is very similar to your WPC. Only difference is it has a much higher density level, so that way a heavy refrigerator sitting on it, or heavy chairs, where they're less likely to dent it and damage it.
Perfect.
Now it does scratch a little bit easier than your laminate flooring. That's why I still push.
So something to keep in mind there.
But they've got some really good looks out there.
We're talking to Joe Zago, the owner and CEO of the Carpet Guys, and when we come back, Joe, can you stick around a little bit longer? I'd like to continue our conversation if that's possible.
Sure.
And then later we're going to be talking about safety during open houses. Warmer weather means more open houses, and we've got some safety tips to keep you and your belongings safe. Stay tuned for more RE/MAX Real Estate Insights coming up here on 760 WJR. Listening to RE/MAX Real Estate Insights, and we've been talking about flooring for your home, and we've covered things like carpet and hardwood and laminate and vinyl. They're all great choices depending on the home that you have and the lifestyle that you lead. And I'm talking with Joe Zago. He is the owner and CEO with the Carpet Guy, so the perfect person to talk about flooring. And I guess one of the things I wanted to ask you is, I think you're very much known as coming out to folks' homes, to come out and bring the samples and talk to folks in their home. Tell us a little bit about how that consult will go if I reached out to you guys.
Typically, you'll see an ad, or one of your friends might have referred us. And if you call 855 for my guys, that's our phone number. Don't call 800 for my guys, because you'll get a funny surprise. I wanted that phone number, but it's not for sale.
Okay, so which one should they call?
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
Perfect, because we don't want something ending up someplace unintentional. So,
but what happens is, the conflict that people have a lot of times with a showroom is, number one is, and it's inside a showroom, you have fluorescent lighting typically in most big showrooms, and carpet will look different underneath fluorescent lighting than it does inside your own home. So I think it's the most appropriate if you're looking at your carpet or hardwood or vinyl or laminate flooring underneath your own lighting inside your own...
In the real situation.
Yeah, in the real environment. A lot of times people will get a gray in a showroom and it will look green inside their house.
Yeah, oops.
Or have a blue tint and there's no blue in it whatsoever. It's just the change in lighting. So being able to look at your new flooring inside, next to your furniture, next to your wall decor, underneath your lighting is extremely important in my opinion. Number two, just the convenience factor. It's no fun having to go from store to store. It's like when you buy a car, you go to 20 different dealerships and it takes a week to do it, and it's frustrating.
And it gets to the point of almost being overwhelming.
Yeah, even in a showroom, if you just went to one showroom, it could be extremely overwhelming because there's so many different colors, so many different manufacturers making very similar products, and your head just spins. So when you call 855 for my guys, we'll ask you a series of questions, a lot of to do with what kind of budget you're trying to work within, what quality you're looking for. Do you have children? Do you have kids? Is it an active household? Children, kids, pets, anything that could that could be a potential something that if you want a stain-resistant carpet if you have young children, because
Right.
accidents are going to happen. So we'll ask you those types of questions. What's your flavor? What's your taste that you like? What colors, textures are you most interested in? And then we'll kind of cater, a lot of good ideas from our designers. We'll bring those samples out to your home, so that way, we have a really good idea. We do this, 30 to 50 times a day.
You're pretty good at kind of figuring
Yeah.
out, okay, based on what you told me,
Yeah.
this sounds like these are the
And there's
good
some
options
one-offs.
for you.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have some ones that are, I want Harley Davidson orange, and we can get it. It's just it might not be one that we stock every day, but we'll bring the samples out to your home that are best based on our phone interview. Once we arrive there, we give you usually a 1-hour time window that we'll get there, and we'll arrive there. We'll bring the samples into your home. We'll ask you similar questions they might have asked you over the phone, because your design consultant won't be the same person that you talk to on the phone, unfortunately. But that way they can have a more clear understanding of exactly what it is you're looking to achieve, and we're going to try to fix your problem. If your old carpet was you're replacing it because it matted down too quickly, or because it had too many stains, then we're gonna take all those things into consideration. We'll bring a lot of different samples in your home for you to take a look at. We'll put it next to your different furniture. We'll move it into the different rooms so you can look at it next to your bedding in one room and your bedding in the other room and the lighting in this room and that room, and try to find what's best. And then we have all different types of options that people can purchase. They can put it on a monthly payment plan, which we now have. We take all credit cards, obviously.
So more than $600 on the credit card, unlike when you first started the company, you actually have some financing now.
I tell you what, there was a Viola Trash Company. Their headquarters, I think, was in Northville. And 9 years ago, or 8 years ago, about my first year in operation, they wanted me to. They saw the reviews that were online, and they wanted us to do their headquarter building. And I had to tell them, I don't have enough credit line to buy enough product. And at that moment, I realized that I'm going to take every cent that I make, and for the next 4 years, I'm going to put every penny back into the company so I can build it. And now we stock, close to $2 million of inventory. Our warehouse is 60,000 square feet, and it's filled to the brim.
Holy
so
cow.
we can put most products in the very next day.
Well, and it's interesting because I think that coming out to the home like you do and like your team does, I think it's a big point of differentiation. Like say then between the big box home improvement stores, where you are having to pick samples out, give them money to take samples home and do all of that. This certainly sounds like a much better way to go about doing it. So customer service seems to be at the core of what you do.
Absolutely put the customer first.
What else, besides just coming out to the home, are there other things that you do to really enhance the customer service experience?
Well, first, going out to the house, like you had said, we really cater to what the customer's needs are, and we do a spectacular job, in my opinion, doing that. Now, sometimes we fall short, but we do everything we can to try to make it right. Our installers, they're all independent contractors just like they are everywhere else. However, the difference with us is we don't outsource to a third party who then outsources to
another party.
It's not like the grand contractor, the great grand contractor. Our guys that perform work for us are in our warehouse every single day. We give them breakfast every single day. So the people.
So you're sending them out happy. That's a good thing.
It makes a huge difference when people like what they do. We just took a whole bunch of installers down to Florida. Some of them have never been in an airplane before, and it was cold out, and let's take a couple days and go down to the beach. And I took them down to the beach and took them to a nice dinner. And what that does is they go back to work, and their attitude is just completely different. They care about the company they work for. They love what they do.
And they want to do a good job. Yeah.
And there's just so much more pride in the workmanship. And it shows between the guy that drags his butt to work every day, doesn't like what he's doing, and the person that's really enthusiastic and loves what he does. And so, this morning I shook 25, 30 hands this morning in our warehouse, and I don't know many companies that the owner does that.
I'm not. But I love it.
I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying that's
it's a point of differentiation.
It's a different culture. I care about my staff, and my staff cares about our customers, and the care factor goes a tremendous. Goes a long way.
Well, and that's going to show up in how the customer is treated, and then in the reviews that you ultimately get from clients. Because if you're the folks representing your company come out and are doing a fabulous job, it's going to show up in how pleased people are.
Yeah. And we really go above and beyond too. There's a lot of places will get you in the door with really cheap prices and free labor. There's no such thing as free labor. That would be illegal. But free labor sale, okay, sure, whatever. But we pay our guys what we pay them, and we pay what we pay because we want to have the best installers out there. But on top of that, we give a lifetime installation warranty. So, if somebody's 3 years down the road and they get a ripple in their carpet, everyone's seen a wavy carpet. Yes. During the first year, it's absolutely free if there's any type of, because 9 times out of 10, if there's something wrong with the carpet in the first year, it's either a manufacturer issue, which we'll get that taken care of right away, or an installation issue. And either way, we're taking responsibility for it. But say 3 years down the road, somebody gets a ripple in their basement floor and in their carpeting. Well, with the poles in the basement and weird cutouts in a great big room, that could be $1,000 repair to restretch a basement. Or a hallway that has you've got to take apart the seams in all the bedrooms. That's a lot of labor. And the most a customer will ever pay is even if it's several years down the road, is a $65 copay, and then we eat the rest of the cost. So they really have peace of mind, real peace of mind, with a written lifetime installation warranty. So that way, if something does go wrong several years down the road, they're not going to be out of pocket $700 or $800 to restretch their basement.
Which is good to know, because people don't always think about that when they're making the choices. But it's good to know that you've got that backup there.
Yeah. We're not the cheapest company out there. I'll be upfront. Typically if you're going to go to a box store and you're going to buy, or a computer store, for example, and you're going to buy a laptop for $1,000. If you want to you're going to get a 1-year warranty, and at checkout they're going to say for an extra $200, we'll give you extend your warranty to 3 years. So you're buying 2 extra years on your warranty for 20% of the price. And this isn't with our warranty, it's not an extended warranty, a last minute cost or hidden extra saying, hey, well, you really should get this extra warranty. It's an extra
we brought you in with this price, but
what you see is what you get. It's automatically included. And so as long as you own your home, you have peace of mind. And if you sell your house within that first year, it's transferable. So, that's also great. It's a
Which
great
is really great, especially for our audience, because we've got a lot of folks listening that are current homeowners and that may be thinking of selling. And oftentimes some people say, hey, carpet is a more economical way to maybe freshen a room. So for folks like that, that could work out really well.
Realtors is the best, because every single customer that comes into a realtor's office is doing one of two things. They're either buying a new home or they're selling a new home. Well, if you're selling a new home, the best way to do it is freshen it up with new paint, throw some new carpet down, clean it up.
Yep, it looks awesome.
And if you just bought a new house and it doesn't have those updates, the first thing you want to do before you move all your furniture is put new carpet in and have it painted.
Yeah. So either way, you're the guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Either way. Well, thanks to Joe Zago, the owner and CEO of the Carpet Guys, for stopping by to talk flooring with us and to share a little more information about him, his company, how they approach customer service. There's many options out there when it comes time for flooring, but before you make a decision, consider reaching out to Joe and his team. And later we tackle safety during open houses. Warmer weather means more open houses, and we've got some safety tips to keep you and your belongings safe. Stay tuned for more RE/MAX Real Estate Insights coming up here on 760 WJR.